Soccer Talk with the Soul is presented by New Mexico Pinon Coffee. I'm Adil. Glad you could join us, along with President of the Albuquerque Soul, Ron Patel. We got some good stuff for you. In a little bit, we're going to have an interview that we had yesterday, Ron, with Devon Sandoval. He's our local professional here from El Dorado High School, right? And had some good sound bites from him. Going to talk some Premier League soccer. We got some highlights for you, and we'll check out that table and a lot of things going on with the Soul tryouts and a bunch of stuff like that. Boxing Day that we'll get to. Yep. But a little bit of tragedy in the soccer world, not nation, but the world, right? That we got to see, and so some sad news, obviously.
Yeah, not so much the soccer world. I just say in the world in general.
Yeah.
And obviously, you know, soccer has always been called the beautiful game, and I think this week has really shown us what a beautiful thing soccer can be and the way it brings people together. For those of you who don't know, there's a team, I believe it's pronounced Chapecoense, is a team in South America who was flying. They were kind of like the Cinderella team. They were the 16 seed in March Madness that made it to the national championship. There was video of the team that the week before just filmed talking about how they can't believe they've made it this far and they're going to this big championship game. And they were flying to play Atlético Nacional of Colombia. And the plane, I believe what happened is ran out of gas and was tragically, we lost, I believe 71 people were on board, and I think only 4 survivors, 3 of which were players. The football community, as always when tragedy strikes, came together in an unbelievable way. We saw Premier League games and games all around the world do a moment of silence during the game. Obviously, you've seen that before, but what you hadn't seen was the team that was going to be the opponent of this team, Atlético Nacional, called all their fans out, called all their fans out to their stadium. They packed the stadium for the night that would have been the final game. Every fan, loud, signs saying, Chapecoense are the champions. They called the South American Federation, CONMEBOL, and said, we concede, make them the champions. And just think of a small school, like a 16-seed school, that's never got a chance to make it to this final. They are now the champions of South America. And they did these announcements for all these players. They announced one player at a time, and the crowd cheered for every player. They had a commemoration for all 71 people that were in the crash. And it was just a beautiful example, a beautiful example of the football community coming together when tragedy struck. And one of the many reasons that makes soccer the beautiful game. So whatever it is you can do this week, honor these people. They weren't all soccer players. There were civilians, of course, on the plane too. But I just wanted to take a moment and acknowledge what a great honor it is to be a part of this beautiful game. And as the Soul is a part of the soccer community, we're a part of this too. So thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously tragic, and you see a lot of viral memes and videos and stuff, and one of the saddest things I saw was 3 of the players that didn't get to travel because of suspension and injury, and they're just sitting in the locker room, this big empty locker room, and what had then become of the tragedy. And so obviously hearts and condolences with the family and everybody, not just the soccer players on board, because like you said, there was other civilians and everybody else on the plane, but. It's tragic, but also it kind of shows you, as you mentioned, Atlético Nacional, what they did, and they concede the trophy, and that's awesome, right? I mean, it's
and the reception they gave,
the
reception they gave in that stadium, and it just shows that soccer goes beyond sport. Soccer's family, and soccer is the human spirit, and I think we saw that this week. But.
Fantastic,
onward we
right?
go.
Yeah. We'll digress, but again, condolences obviously to everybody involved. We mentioned Devon Sandoval, and this is funny, as our guy in the back, J. Paul, played with Devon Sandoval, so we actually talked with him a little bit about that, and so we got to start giving J. Paul a little bit more credit around here. But here's the interview I had with him. We caught up with him a little bit earlier. Catching up with professional soccer player Devon Sandoval joining us. So, Devon, here from Albuquerque, played at El Dorado High School. Before we get into your pro career, tell me a little bit about that, El Dorado. I mean, because that was the class of high school sports, maybe not so much anymore in soccer, but was when you played.
Yeah, El Dorado was great. We won state my freshman, sophomore year. Junior year, lost in the finals. And then senior year, it was still a great year, but I ended up getting injured. But my time at El Dorado was fun, and it's definitely good memories.
So you're starting in club. What clubs did you play for into high school?
I played for one club, Classic FC Red Star.
And I mean, obviously the goal as we're kids is, to go pro. I mean, when did you realize that this could actually happen?
I think, like, obviously that was my goal and my dream ever since I was a little kid. But probably when I was freshman, maybe 8th grade, I started realizing, like, my potential, and that's probably when I realized that professional career was something that could happen.
You play with our director, producer, does everything here, Jason Pohl, who everyone who follows Pro V Networks knows Jason Pohl. He's the guy in the backgroround, right? Jason Pohl always says that he made this PK in the state finals and you missed the PK. Is this accurate, or is Jason Pohl, is he lying?
No, it's true. I missed. I choked pretty bad, and
that's the only thing he's got going, I think. He lives off of that, I think. He lives through that moment.
Jason and I played a lot growing up, and he was pretty good back in the day.
Oh, that's not bad. I mean, a pro soccer player, Jay Pohl, saying you're pretty good. All right, we'll give you some credit then, man. Okay, so you go from El Dorado, and obviously it was successful, and your club team was really good, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was successful. And so talk about college from there.
College, ended up going to San Diego State for one semester, and it just didn't really, wasn't a fit.
It wasn't
for me.
right?
Yeah, it wasn't right. I wanted to be home and playing at UNM. I mean, I grew up watching UNM play every weekend, so it felt right to be back here. So I played here for 3 years, and my sophomore year we were okay. We lost in the first round. My junior year, we were undefeated, lost in the Sweet 16, and my senior year we lost in the Sweet 16 also. So I think we probably underachieved. We had really, really quality players, and we were a really good team. But it's tough once you get to tournament time, and you gotta hope for a little bit of luck and hope the ball falls your way a little bit, and sometimes it does.
Well, we know the game. I mean, sometimes obviously the best team never wins, right? It comes down to maybe counterattack goals, or just maybe you're off one day. I mean, that's soccer. That's soccer for you. But to be honest, I mean, to be in the position every year in the NCAA tournament to make a run and get into the Sweet 16, I mean, that's got to be pretty cool in its own.
Yeah, I mean, looking back, those 3 years here were some of the best years of my life for sure. Just being able to play in front of my hometown, and and the relationships you make on and off the field, it's something that was really important to me, and it was good.
So good run in college, and then it's pro time, right? And this is where you find out you get to go pro and you get drafted, and that's got to be something in its own, just to get drafted and know, wow, this is it. My childhood dreams, I'm going to make this happen. Talk about that feeling.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. I guess I really felt like, okay, this could happen going into my senior year. So I got to train with DC United and Real Salt Lake. And that gave me a lot of confidence going into my senior year. But, once I was done with my college and the combine happened, and, I had a good idea I was going to go to Salt Lake. It was pretty crazy. It's hard to describe, the emotions. But, yeah, that was a very happy time for sure.
Okay, so then you get drafted, and you get there, and what's that experience like?
Yeah, Salt Lake was by far the only team that I wanted to play for, because I had such a good experience when I went there that summer. And when I got there, the team welcomed me, the guys welcomed me, and it kind of felt like home. So it was good right from the start.
Talk about the different level of play once you make it here to the MLS, and you're a professional player, and from college and from high school, and you've always played at a high level, but what's the play like?
You're playing with grown men now. You're playing with guys that have played professional for 10 years, guys that are experienced, played in World Cups. You're playing with the best of the best. And that for me was the hardest adjustment, was playing against people that were bigger or faster, quicker than me. So you got to adapt, and it was a good challenge for sure.
And then you, I mean, you even started your broadcasting career out a little bit, right? I mean, just recently you were with Henry T, and you did a little color commentating in the NCAA tournament where the Lobos actually got to host a game where they won in a shootout. I believe it was against Portland, right?
Yep.
Talk about
that was a good experience. Day before, I was hanging out at home and got the call, and I couldn't turn it down. You know, it was good experience. And you know, like I said, I grew up watching the team, so it was fun to be in a different perspective and, you know, commentate, especially because I played with some of those guys, and, you know, it was good. I was happy they won.
Well, you've got a lot more playing to do, but just remember, that's what you do. After your playing career is over with, then you become a broadcaster, right?
Yep.
All right. One more thing. Give me your best moment. Best moment as a professional player.
Best moment.
The moment where you just cannot forget.
Probably, let's see. There's a lot of good moments, so it's kind of tough.
Right.
But my first year at Salt Lake, we were in the playoffs. We made it to the conference finals, and I got to start those games, and I scored. So for me, that was definitely one of the highest moments in my career.
You can't beat that, right? Conference and you're scoring and starting. That's pretty cool.
So now I gotta win the MLS Cup sometime to top it, but.
Well, that's next.
Yep, that's the plan.
Well, we appreciate you coming on, man.
Thank you.
Devon Sandoval, professional soccer player here from Albuquerque, went to El Dorado High School. We appreciate you joining us for a little bit. And played with Jason Pohl. How about that? A little credit to Jay Pohl. So it's cool to catch up with them. Jason helped hook up that interview because, you know, he played with them. And we always make fun of Jason, right? And you saw in the interview that he says he made the PK in the state championships and Devon missed it. So we had a little fun with that, right?
You know, and I thought, I'm not sure if Jason got the call up to MLS before Devon did or not. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I'll leave that alone.
You know, Jason's career might be done, right, in soccer, but in foot golf, I mean, I watched him in your event. I watched him eagle his very first shot.
You know, we had our talent scouts out there, and I saw that they were eyeing Jason Pohl, you know, because the way that he managed the camera work and the tee shot, it was impressive. Yeah.
But good to see Devon and catch up with him, and you know, he's you know, one of those kids that made it from here, and you know, his future, who knows what it holds right now.
Yeah, there's some great players that have come out of Albuquerque, and you know, I was talking with Larry, our GM, who was up at the Sounders Rapids game this past weekend in Colorado. O'Neal Fisher got a lot of minutes, you know, played at UNM, moved on to Major League Soccer. Interesting note about the team that Devon's been playing for, the Rayo OKC. They're a part of the NASL. It's almost like an equivalent of USL. It's technically second division, where USL is technically
but really
third
not so
it's
much,
really
right?
not so much, right? And so the league is I haven't come out and said it, but the soccer community will tell you that the league is in trouble. They're down to 7 teams in the league. The Ottawa Fury, a well-known franchise, an even better-known franchise, the Tampa Bay Rowdies, have now jumped ship from NASL and gone over to USL. That now puts USL, by the way, at 33 teams. 3 years ago, when we joined the PDL, the USL had 11 teams. It's incredible the growth that we're seeing in the game right now.
It's a good thing. Now, we were talking off air that maybe it wasn't a good thing, but I think this is a good thing.
I'm going to disagree with you.
Because
It's a bad thing for a soccer league to dismantle. It hurts the game in general.
But I don't know as if they're going to dismantle. I think they just might then become USL.
I think they will trickle in, but you got to understand they're 2 separate business organizations.
Sure.
It makes sense logically for those 2 organizations to join. But as anyone knows in the business world,
we'll see if it all unfolds that way.
Yeah,
right?
it depends on how it happens. But in the grand scheme of things, it will probably make USL a stronger league. It may temporarily hurt the game in terms of those markets that have NASL teams in them. You know, the most recognizable NASL team is the New York Cosmos. They started in the 70s when Pele and Franz Beckenbauer came over. I think George Best might have played on that team too. Don't quote me on that. But then the league dismantled when the United States wasn't ready for soccer yet, and now that it came up, I don't think that's a word. Reappeared 3 years ago.
We could use recame
up.
Came up.
You know, the league recame up 3 years ago, and now it looks like it's in trouble. But USL continues to rise.
You know what also came up here in a minute is Larry Espinosa. He's going to come up and be on the show in just a little bit. We're going to go over some highlights in EPL. Come on back at Soccer Talk.
Let's talk some Manchester United with Larry. I think that'll be a good topic for today.
Come on back.